Okay, I shall hand you over to Caroline.
Hello.
Okay.
So good evening, everybody. My name is Caroline. Some people might have seen me in Devices Shamble, where usually I'm painting live. I do a lot of animal paintings. The reason is we are working together with Chris here. So we are working with Cairnhill Countryside Centre. We have rescue animals and children coming over. This is a big project. And so I have models everywhere. And these are some of the models. So one of the most famous animal over there is Cuthbert the goose, which is here. And Owen is his girlfriend, or one of them. There is a lot of fight going on there. But so I'm going to work on this and show you what method I use and how I work. And I see that a lot of people have drawn up already the subject, so thank you very much for that. If you have any question, ask me anything. I don't have every answer, but I'll try to answer any question. If it's about the painting, that's me. If it's about the animal, this is Chris here. So, are we okay to start, or is anyone need some time to draw up? So, are we okay to start then?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So I've already drawn up mine. The method I use, it depends. If it's just for me, I just this is a collage basically. So what I could use paper, photo, and actually do my collage myself just to get the composition right. I work a lot on the composition. This is very important to have some depth, to have something going on, some angles, the horizon line and things like that. With the animal, I always work at their level. So when I take photograph of the animals, and they are small animals, I'm constantly on my knees. So it's just because you would have a more interesting painting, meaning communicating with them, you are the same level as them. And then, according to what I get, I do collage usually. I have been painting on site as well, but most of the time I create my own composition. So here you can see this is a composition because Cuthbert has got the morning light, but Owen hasn't got it. So what we will try to do here is we'll try to add actually the same light, obviously, with a shadow going this way. If you have followed Cairnhill Countryside Centre, we have what we call the rush hour in the morning. So the reason there is that door at the back is because this is the rush hour door. What we call the rush hour is we open the door in the morning and all the animals comes out. So they go a bit crazy because they are hungry. So the rush hour door is quite famous when it comes to social media. This is the reason it's here. You don't have to do it. I see some people have done their own composition, which is really good. And so let's start. So I will start with what I use. I use acrylic inks. Am I in the way? I use acrylic inks, so they are liquid acrylic paint, and they mix very well together. Some of them are very transparent, some of them are not that transparent, and they mix very well with water. So what we can get is either some really intense pigment, or we can have some watercolour effect as well. It dries really fast, which is good. You can paint actually quite fast with it. So what I'll do is I'll start with the lighter colour. I don't always start actually with the lighter colour. Sometimes I decide to start with the dark one. It just depends on how I feel that day. So for today it's going to be cadmium yellow. I'm going to start with Cuthbert light here. Sorry.
That's okay, it's okay.
All right, okay. You just shout if you have any question, all right? So I put a tiny bit of yellow in that pot. These are just dessert pots, so if you need any, that's a good reason to have a dessert. Okay? And this is titanium white. Titanium white, in that all the tailored runner that you are actually using In theory, titanium white is supposed to be opaque. It's never opaque with these. They are always a little bit transparent, so so you got to go light on the color that you are mixing with. So I put quite a bit of white in there because I wanted to keep light. I will see, as you can see, it's very orange. That was a really nice morning that morning, so it's very orange on the goose here. But I will see that later. I will add it on later. We'll feel the color. I'm working on the complementary colors here. So let me find my brush. That's the one I want. This is a very old brush. It's perfect to paint hair. So if you have a really old brush that you use all the time, eventually it does like something a bit strange like this. It's perfect for hair, so just keep it. You can't find that in a shop. So it's a bit too yellow for me. I'm going to add some raw amber, which is a transparent brown basically. It will just dull it a little bit. My palette, so the paper I use is actually watercolor paper. It's quite a thick one. I like it because it just absorbs the paint very quickly and it keeps the paper very, very straight. The paper, even if you put a lot of water, it might start like bubbling a bit, but as soon as it dries, it stays flat, which is a problem with watercolor. Sometimes you can never get it flat, like it's, so yeah, that's quite good for that. So, I'm just, you can see, so you won't see, yeah, I can see, you won't see much there. I'm just putting some colors where the sun hits the feathers here. What I've got as well, another trick, is like if I want to keep some white, and I went over, I got a little bit of time to actually dab it a little bit. So here I can see that the sun is hitting right on the shoulder here, or the wing. I don't know the term for that, maybe Chris would know. But, so yeah, so that's it. And I can wait for it to dry and I can add another layer that will darken it a little bit in some places. So I'm going to add it on Owen, so that's Owen here. So Owen needs to be hit by the sun. So if I take into consideration that the sun is coming this way, then it will be darker here. I will start having probably something here, the neck here, and probably on the head. Right. It will probably go here.
So Cuthbert is a very, very famous goose at the Cane Hill Countryside Centre. Cuthbert has been with the farm for 3 years. And Cuthbert, very short story, shut me up, Caroline, when you need to.
No, that's fine, you carry on.
Cuthbert was a little goblin. He was hatched by a duck, a musky duck. And one Saturday morning, I came out, and the youngsters were just arriving, and this little gosling came running across the yard to me, looked at him sort of longingly, because the mother duck rejected it. I thought, oh my goodness, what can I do with this? I thought it was duckling at first, but obviously it was a lot bigger. So I put this little gosling up my sleeve, little Cuthbert. That's how we got the name Cuthbert. At the farm, we take in lots of young people who come down to the farm. We're a charity that's set up to help young people. So this little goose spent 4 hours up my sleeve, my cup, and obviously there was a lot of mess in there afterwards, but it bonded with me big time.
So your mummy
Mummy and daddy, but the DNA results are negative, so I'm pretty pleased with that. But the Cuthbert now follows me everywhere.
Yeah.
And,
Are you going for Christmas?
well, the
It tastes good.
but it's amazing the bond that Cuthbert's got, and not only with me, because Caroline comes down to the farm regularly to paint for us and help support the project. And yeah, Cuthbert is amazing, even to the extent made #1 in the iTunes charts 2 weeks ago, Saturday night. I guess you were all there in front of your computers waiting for this. He made #1 in the comedy charts with one of the local singers, Terry Jordan, who's a talented singer and devises, made a song about Cuthbert's goose. Made #1. So. But Cuthbert has become quite famous. He's been on television, he's been on Good Morning Britain, Good Morning America, he's been on German TV, Australian TV, he's been in the Times.
All he wants is carrots, though.
Oh, yeah, with carrots. So it's amazing with social media, and we'll tell more about a bit later on about how Cuthbert has become social media big time. 2.2 million followers following Cuthbert the Goose, and his love of his life, Owen now. Even though Cuthbert's little, he's got a few lady friends. So, sorry, Caroline, you're talking.
No, that's fine. So, so you know a little bit more about Cuthbert.
And the other thing, well, Caroline just gets ready for the next sort of session there. We sent a picture on, well, Caroline kindly painted a picture of Cuthbert, put it onto eBay, and it sold for £500 in America.
Yeah, the US is absolutely crazy about what we do on there.
So yeah, so we can't thank Caroline enough for supporting the project and bringing Cuthbert.
Well, it's a joint thing, really. We're supporting each other with this. So, and that helps the animals. I mean, all the animals, they kind of pay for themselves, basically, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like they are featured regularly, and people love them and donate. So.
And I'll give you a leaflet before you go, and again, if you want to come over and do some painting of yourself.
Yeah.
In the warm weather, but keep it there, so you're welcome to come over and see.
I'll probably be there too. So.
Where is it again?
Just outside the Lises, bottom of Cane Hill, by the Cane Hill Locks. It's sort of off the radar a little bit, because we deal with vulnerable groups, young people, and so we don't advertise the location too much, but we welcome groups like yourself to come along and paint the animals, because we've got over 300 animals.
Wow.
Everyone's trained to my voice. If I call out Coco, the donkey comes running. Marlene, the pig comes running, if it's called Marlene, or the alpacas, or the sheep, Dottie. And it's amazing. And just to finish off, really, with the rush hour, what Caroline has made real famous. Every morning I open up the doors to let the animals out, and it's greetings and good morning, and in some cases good night, because we have an American audience. And all these animals come running out, and sometimes a little lamb will come out, or one of our goats, something like that. And it's captured the imagination. It's all real good fun. It's on social media. We do it every morning.
Yeah.
I've never ever slept in the last 5
No days off for you, is it?
Always at 4 o'clock in the morning. Never missed one rush hour. Always let my animals out. My animals.
You don't go on holiday or anything?
No, I can't really. So can't.
Well, we are going to Kenya in January, but this is for work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Back to Caroline and.
So, I do take days off though. Oh, really? So what I've done here, so I'm working with, I don't really use this anymore, but I was using it at first. I mean, I've been painting for ages, but I think at the very beginning when I started painting, I was scale of colors. I was very good at doing charcoals and things like that, but what I'm working here, I'm working with the complementary. So because we've got some yellow here, or ochre, orangey, what goes, it's kind of natural what's happening in your brain with that. If you work with the complementary, you are making the picture even more attractive. So the complementary of that is like a kind of purplish. So this is what I'm working on, and actually in nature, it's very much like that. The best example would be probably a sunrise. You've got some clouds that are orangey, and you always have like this dirty blue purplish that is coming with it, and this is so attractive. So I'm working on that at present. So the shadow of Cuthbert is getting to that purple here. So I'm going slow on this. It's like almost a watercolor. This is watered down a little bit, so I can build it up slowly. In the meantime, I'm using that brush, so it is creating a little bit. You can see on geese, you always have these little, I don't know, it almost looks like clouds. That's just the feathers that are like that. So it does work well with that. I don't really pay much attention to that. It does it naturally when you have a crazy brush like this. So that's what I'm doing at present. Now, to create the effect of a 3D and something that is round like the neck, I'm going quite dark here in the middle. And you can see actually in reality that's very much like that. This is darker here, and then it goes a little bit lighter on the other edge here. So I'm going to work on that with a lighter blue. So what I mix for the purple is, sorry, cerulean blue here, which is very opaque. Some white as well, but this is originally with the Pyrrole red here. So these two, the red is very, very strong, so it's really a tiny drop compared to the blue. And then you can see your purple coming up, and you can rearrange it if you find it too red or too blue, and then you add the white and some water if you need to. So there we are. When it comes to the shadows that are closer to the ground, you always have a reflection from the ground. So the ground is usually brown, so you will have some brown coming through with the purple as well. I never work them together. I wait for one to be fully dry before I put the other, because otherwise you get some green. Green is wrong. It will look wrong. It's, well, unless something is really green, but like when it comes to this, it will look wrong. So I'll start with the purple, and if I need to, I will add some yellowish ochre type of thing, but one after the other. Because you could do sometimes, you can mix directly on a paper. That's actually quite interesting to do. But I would avoid anything that comes to green. So I do work on my perspective a lot when it comes to composition. Actually, not much on that one, but usually I do. I used to be an interior designer doing some drawing for interior designers. So when it comes to perspective drawings and working on proportion, I was doing that constantly. So yeah. It was a daily thing. And animals are no different. This is the kind of, they all have a body. This is an architecture. You can actually work out, the way they walk, the way they are built. This is very similar.
And the nice thing about our farm is that we have so many subjects on there. And they're all posers. They're so used to the camera. They just especially dangle a carrot in front of them.
Yeah.
But
not always. The sheep, they are amazing because whether we have food or not, they do come and play, don't they? There's animals like that. They don't.
the interaction is amazing, and I think that's why the project works so well, because the young people come to us from schools locally and slightly sort of, they say disengaged, but they struggle a little bit at school. They come down to us, and we never have any problems with the children. We've got 70 acres, we've got all these wonderful animals, and we've got the opportunity for them to not only learn about the animals and the plants, we have woodwork, metalwork, and also the car line, they can do art as well. So it's given them an opportunity to find their skills, but I think we're probably all the same. Teach kids to actually know what your skill is, and you know.
Yeah, it's very interesting because we've got kids that they will absolutely adore the painting. Some kids, we do cooking as well. They will be right into the cooking, and some others are about tractors, and they all find their way. It's nice to see, and they are very grateful for everything we do. They always want to help, and they want to come back. I mean, we had some days where it was rainy, horrible, it was cold, and they didn't want to go, they wanted to stay. So we are doing something right here. Okay, so I'm going to go for, here we've got a very light blue. Oh, just one thing as well. I've got my computer here that I use sometimes. It's a little bit like well, I don't really use this anymore, but I would take it if I need to as reference. The reason I don't use it is because I got my own palette today, so I use very much the same color. That works for me and all that, so I don't really need the color wheel anymore. But if suddenly I do something completely different, like, I don't know, somebody asks me a weird commission, then I would probably use it. Now, I use the tool of today, which is also this software. It's a type of Photoshop. You can download it, it's free, called GIMP, G-I-M-P. And what you do, you can put your picture on it, and you got this little sort of, I don't know, in French we call that a pipette, in English it's color picker. It's a color picker. And if I am not sure about a color, I can still go and pick on the image, and it will give me the swatch here. Now it's never very accurate because it's a computer, so it's always, if you ever do that, go always lighter than what the computer says. But it can be useful. Sometimes you're like, you know, you can't really pick what the color is. So yeah, that does help for that. So now I want a really light blue, I think.
The interesting thing for myself is that I started off as a farmer. My dad brought up on a farm, on a council farm, and spent my time doing farming, but also photography. And one day, my dad said, "Didn't want me anymore." I had to go and find another job. So I ended up doing scenes of time work for the police as photographer, come video cameraman. I went from farming into video for the Wiltshire Police, which I did for many years. Passionate about my camera. I wish I could be artistic like yourself, but I'm artistic with my camera. And the thing that's interesting for myself, and as Caroline would be the same as yourself, the most important thing is understanding light. And my granddad was a photographer called Mr. Cave Devises, professional photographer, and he taught me light. He gave me a camera, he said, "No meters, I want you to use your camera, I want you to be able to set your camera up without using a meter." So I learnt my f-stops and my apertures so I could take pictures without having to use any automatic settings or light meters. So light's very important, as Caroline is teaching me about art. The same with my photography in that. We need light to be able to understand light. So
yeah, we do think the same when it comes to that. It's funny, we do different things, but we do think in a very similar way when it comes to light. We know if it's going to be a good film or not, basically, or good video or not. Yeah.
And we both love sunrises and sunsets. And midday.
Right. So here I just put some light blue. this is basically the reflection of the sky. Mostly when you have white animal, actually nothing is really white, you've got a lot of reflection. If you look at, I've got greeting cards over there, like for example, we got a picture of 2 alpacas. One of them is white, one of them is brown, and if you look at the white, it's actually full of colors. So, so now I think I'm going to darken shadows before going to orange. So, the shadows that are reflecting the ground. So I'm going to use some raw amber because it's reflecting the ground. And so let's have a look.
The other interesting thing about our animals, those of you who remember, there's a famous TV program called Animal Man with Johnny Morris.
Yeah.
So what I've done on social media, I put voices to my animals, and I try to hide behind the camera. I'm better behind the camera. So Cuthbert will come out in the morning and go, "Hello, hey Caroline, you doing well?"
Hello, Cuthbert. How are you today?
Oh, not so bad. What are you doing there then?
I'm fine, thank you. Well, I'm actually painting you. How about that?
Really?
Why don't you come and have a look?
Oh, I'm not sure about that. There's a carrot.
Well, yeah, of course I've got a carrot for you.
Oh, thank you. She goes on and on and on.
Yeah, I can go on and on. But so is Cuthbert. So Cuthbert and Owen have like a little love story. I think Owen is very much in love, but Cuthbert doesn't care because he's a celebrity. And he's got other girlfriends as well.
Yeah, it's very cool. He's famous.
Yeah.
But people come down. We had a gentleman the other day who was a lady from Australia. One of the things when you come to this country, see Cuthbert the goose. I said, don't you have geese in Australia? Goose. No, the special goose, but...
They didn't care about our emus.
No.
But it was quite funny.
No, we have emus.
Yeah, we have
That's a
emus.
long story. Someone donated 2 emu eggs to the farm from eBay. And I thought, well, it can't be for a child. I put them in the incubator. 50 days later, tap, 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 tap. 51 days later, tap, tap, quarter. So I had to get a hacksaw and do the cesarean on 2 emus. And we've got these 2 emus like that, who are again imprinted on myself and Caroline and the team. And they follow me around at 30 miles an hour. I don't know 30 miles an hour. They rush down the field. So
They are very, very funny. They got that dance in the morning, you know, where you have to see it. I mean, we got it on camera, in some videos, but they look absolutely crazy. They are very entertaining.
So it's interesting for myself to go into the police and doing scenes of crime work, photography and video. In later years, my dad sadly had to retire due to ill health, and the council left the farm redundant, and we approached them to say, could we take it over as a learning centre? And it was hard work, but after 3 years hard work, we got our planning permission, and we set up a farm as a learning centre for young people. We also had taking care homes as well, so it's quite strange to go from farming into the police photography. I became a web developer for the police as well. I became a teacher as well, so all my skills in life have come back to be able to pass on to a younger generation. So I think I always wanted to be able to give back. And the whole project is run by volunteers. And Caroline volunteers her time as well as a lot of other people, so it's a bit special, especially you can inspire a young person, because in my journey I didn't do wonderfully well at school. I did okay, but I wasn't really interested that much. But to my career and being able to sort of give back now is sort of very rewarding.
So always step back from your painting, because it's when you see there is something that is not right.
If you go back to Chipman, it's really good.
Right, so I could go darker. reason is I sometimes use quite a lot of water. So I'm just being careful that things are not dropping too much. Yeah, but that's okay. So I will see the door later. I'm just concentrating on the geese for this one. So yeah. So this is a really nice project, and we've got a lot going on. There is a competition actually going on with painting and poetry and rush hour videos as well. So everybody's invited to participate if they want to.
They're sending the painters of Cuthbert. We get a chance to meet Cuthbert.
Yes.
VIP visit to the farm. And if you're really good, I'll let you go down the field and pick mangoes.
Yeah.
They're root crop, not the mangoes. We've grown quickly root crop of mangoes, a bit like oversized turnips or Swedes. So we had a team from Nationwide in today. We had volunteers. They came along, and we picked up probably about 2 tons of mango root crop for the animals.
Wow.
To make it even more exciting, we did mango burning.
Yeah. Never heard of that before I met you.
No, not many people have.
Yeah.
I don't get out a lot, you can see. Sheltered life on the farm.
Yeah, and the funny thing is a lot of people online said, oh my god, that's my dream retirement or my dream life, or yeah.
But it is good because I get the opportunity to see every sunrise and every sunset. You can tell by the animals, because of my photography, and I'm by the King Hill Locks, which I love, the King Hill Locks. And I spent a whole year doing all the sunrises for a whole year, which obviously this time of year is not too bad because it's sort of 4 to 8 time, but it was in June, it's 4:15. But it teaches you about light, that's the thing about it, and that's what inspires me.
You must be keen.
Yeah, or slightly mad. Either.
Well, I think it's a habit too. I mean, you've been waking up really early all your life, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you a sad story just before Caroline goes on. Why do I get up at 4 o'clock every morning? I never have an alarm clock. Because when I was younger, I had to milk the cows. From the age of 12, I was milking cows weekends. And then I left school at 2 o'clock, and by 4 o'clock I was working on the farm. I never had a day off. My dad made me milk the cows. He said, it's your time now, boy. Get out there and milk them cows. Oh. And we had to get up at 4 o'clock. But being young, I wanted to go out and enjoy myself. Go dancing, meeting a few ladies. And I came back one night and I was a little bit drunk, shall we say. Ended up in the airing cupboard. As you do, where else would you go? 7 o'clock came, the cows not milked, my dad couldn't hear it, and oh my goodness, I never, ever overslept every day. So I would like to wake up one morning and think, oh, I slept in this morning, but I've got a sort of a brain, and some of you probably are similar. I wake up full of ideas, that's it, my day's got to go, and that's it. But it's good, I said, I'm lucky to be seeing all these sunrises, and
yeah, it's funny because we put that online and people love it, but they could actually go outside and do it themselves.
Yeah, I have to go look outside and be taking pictures.
Yeah. Right, so. Okay, let's see. So I'm placing the colors like that. I'm going to do the beak and everything else. Place the shadow. The shadow, they always give a ground to the. They actually allow the animal to stand on something, and then I will ink them. So I will give them some character with some gel pens and things like that. So my painting are very much. They are not caricatures. They're still painting, but I'm always on the edge with that, and I try to keep it this way. So I want them to be funny, I want them to have humor, but I don't want them to go into like a cartoon and caricature either. So, alright, so let's go for... I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to go for the really bright orange that we had that morning or not. So, orange is easy. Pure red, a very tiny bit, because as I said before, it's really strong. And some cadmium yellow that you shake well, because it's very transparent. So you need the pigment, you need the little pigment that is in there. Is everybody all right? Anyone's got any question? Can ask anything? Tell what I had for breakfast. But I don't have breakfast, so that's easy.
The interesting thing about geese is that they can be very aggressive. Some people probably come across some very aggressive geese. They're brilliant with the guard dog or guard geese. People are more scared of geese than dogs quite often. Because they've got, because they're mainly grazers, they've got razor type bills in their beak. It's like razor sharp. And they rip the grass off and they can rip into the skin and do a lot of damage. So yeah, they are quite dangerous. But the other day, I had
Just so you know, I'm changing, sorry Chris, I'm changing brush. I want something that I can have a sharp edge to. I don't want the hair bit on the beak and the legs either. Off to you.
And the phone, we were a rescue animal centre as well, the charity takes in lots of animals. Someone, there's a missing animal, and it's usually you get a call, and someone came across a goose in Bromham. They'd been on holiday for 3 weeks. A goose in their garden when they came back. And they rang the RSPCA and they said, oh, ring Chris. Rang the vet, ring Chris. And eventually they rang Chris. And he said, I've got this goose. And my brother came over, Simon, bless him. He said, oh, I know where that place is, I'll go over with you. So we were dressed as farmers in our sort of boots. I thought I'm going to get a blanket and throw over the goose and capture it. So we go to this lady's door and no reply. Strange. Knock. Looked round the back of the garden, this poor lady came we had the wrong house, and she thought she was going to be kidnapped if she got and she said, oh, there's some people running the corner, got geese. That's good. So we drive around the corner and think, oh, that's a nice geese, there's more than one. I thought we're going to have those. We go in there and try to round them up, and this woman comes out, no, what are you doing? There's my geese. We had another wrong address.
Oh no!
And then ended up in
Police officer.
the third place, looking at, she knew of the project, who I was, and not collecting for Christmas. So we ended up at the third place and caught this goose, took it back, wrapped it round in a blanket, and it was on my lap in the front with a seat back round it, and all these people were taking pictures of me with this goose. So we got the goose back, and then the owner, so the goose actually went.
Yeah, when you told me that, I wanted to keep the goose. I was like, oh yeah, a new one, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so that was a wild goose chase.
Oh, yeah.
Literally. They're great characters. There's like all the animals on the farm, and that, and people do love them. And people will send carrots to us. And the strange thing about carrots goes to.
We do feature Cuthbert eating carrots and wanting carrots all the time, so that's the reason.
I'm trying to get him to drink wine.
Yeah.
We don't get that, but
I don't know, yeah, some carrots.
yeah, they do. Yeah, they love lettuce, like vegetables. And being a farmer and that, I'm very elegant. I chew them up in my mouth and spit it out.
Oh.
Not as elegant, but Cuthbert does like the.
So here for the beak, it's fairly easy. I've got my orange. I just put it in and then I dab it with that. So I leave when I dab it, it just show the white of the paper through, and it just creates the light actually falling on the bead. So, and then if I want more shadows, I just build it up with the orange. If I want even more shadow, I can go towards the raw amber. Actually, the shadow on an orange that would actually eventually become dark purple. So I won't go that far here. So I think that works okay for now. And I will get to the legs.
At the moment, it looks like me many years ago, a little bit legless.
Yeah, that's true. When you look at that. What's going on here? So it's funny because actually Chris and I, we didn't meet very long ago, do we?
No,
It's been only a few months.
feels like a lifetime.
Yeah. What do you mean? Are we going to have an argument?
Yeah, just go on and on. I think about it.
Yes,
I can't
I'm
understand
going
her
on
half
and
the time. She can't understand me. She talks French, I talk
Yeah,
French.
yeah, it's exactly that. I can't understand you with your Wiltshire accent. I can't understand you with your French accent. So many.
You can't keep it quiet, that's for certain. But
Well, it's funny because we watched some old videos the other day, and I was very camera shy at the time, and so I didn't say anything. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, today I would have said this and that, and you wouldn't have been able to say anything. Yeah, it's funny how things have evolved so fast with everything, to be honest, with what we do. The whole project has been amazing lately.
yeah, it's been a lot of hard work in those,
Yeah.
over the years. But with the social media, I sort of very quickly touch on it. It has changed the whole perspective because I've been doing this for a long time, and my life behind the camera, not in front of it. Starting to put these online in July, a journalist picked up on this and said, "You must follow this farmer in Devizes. He's so wholesome. He's so." What I do is spontaneous. I don't know what the animal's going to do, so I'm reacting to the animals. And she put it out on the Twitter, and like 2.2 million people jumped in and started following and had all these comments, and we had all these TV and radio, even the Times coming in to do articles, which is nice, but it takes a lot of time, and you don't really get money as such for it. And it sounds good. I was on Good Morning Britain. I never watched TV and know who these people were, and they were sort of interested in what we did. So it's got a lot of interest. Of course, then it created people wanted to come and visit what we were visitor centres, but we don't, we had to be a bit careful because of the vulnerable groups we deal with. So it sort of built up, and then there's a social media called TikTok. It's the latest social media, a bit like Instagram, Facebook. And they chose me as the face of TikTok. Really? My age at the and sort of extremely young, and thinking it's not for young people, but they wanted to encourage an older generation to get involved. And they came down with a complete production crew to do a film with me in Cuthbert and a few of the animals. Which was flattering. First time in my life I wore makeup. It's like an admit to anyway. And they used me, a mermaid, and someone from Love Island to promote TikTok. Luckily, they haven't got me confused yet. So, but it's been an interesting journey. But on the positive side, a lot of people put in requests. So quite often I do shout out to young people who might be in hospital, or people sort of maybe struggling a bit, want to have a little bit of a smile. Because I think in this day and age there's a lot of negativity around, especially around social media. So I have some of me talking for Coco the donkey or Cuthbert, it brings a smile. So some people have made some good generous donations. People pay for me to shout out to their loved ones, and Caroline as well. And I've done weddings, talking to the donkey. It's quite crazy, really. But
yeah, I think what it brings, working with animals is really good. I don't know, people have the stress of their lives and they see these videos with the animals and all that, and it just, I don't know, they are saying it to us, don't they? We have like some really, really nice messages about, I don't know, a rush hour we've done, or a shout out or something like that. It just, you remember the twins? That was a really nice one. A birthday, just a birthday shout out with a donkey for, I think it was with a donkey we did it.
Yes.
For a couple of, so some twins, it was, maybe they were like 8 years old, it was their birthday, and the mum could not afford, she said, I can't afford anything, it was probably from America, somewhere like that.
Yes.
And anyway, that just, they were over the moon with something like that. So it's really nice that we come to that, we have the possibility to make some people and kids like that so happy just with a shout out. It's just really, really amazing. We're still blown away by it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's quite humbled by it all, the things that
Yeah.
people will get. You know, and it's nice to be able to do. But my favourite character at the moment, you know, say if you want to come down and see, you're all invited to come and have a look. Not to do some paintings or photography and that. We've got a wheelchair round. Now, wheelchair round is a recent one called Henry.
He's got a voice as well.
I love Henry because I can do his voice. He talks a bit like this. He loves the girls, he does. I'm Henry. I love doing girls down here. It's really good in here. I say, they really look after me. So I can sort of take the nick of my dad, who sadly isn't no longer with us, but so built up from a wheelchair with a dad, a farmer who spoke broad wheelchair. It's quite interesting. But the interesting thing about a wheelchair round, I'm not sure you know too much about your sheep, but they shed the wool, you don't have to shear them.
Oh.
So the wool just falls out in the spring, and because sheep have been bred to produce the wool. So that's why they shed, and obviously the original sheep, you know, they were never sheared, the wool just falls out. So if you want to come and collect some wool in the spring, I'll give you a bag and off you go. So, yeah.
We should have more rounds, haven't we? We've got more coming.
We've got some more ewes.
Oh, right, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Henry was very jealous. Get another ram in there.
yeah, that's right.
Best job on the farm, be a ram. 80 ewes, no problem, day's work, sorted. Rest of the year off. Can't be bad, can't be bad.
So also we should have a lot of lambs actually in March. That's going to be really nice.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of subject for me as well. So I'm just building up the shadows here with a bit of raw amber on the powder. It gets quite dark here. They're just very much in the shadow. Some people ask, like, how long does it take you to do a painting? So it's very difficult to answer that because really that's. I did a lot of landscape. I did a lot of things and different medium as well. I used acrylic. I used oil. A lot of pastels as well. I love the soft pastels. The unison one are really nice. If you have ever seen a demonstration by Soraya French, it's lovely, isn't it? She's got these bright colors. She used the unison pastel. I absolutely love it. So yeah, but each medium can be adapted, I guess, with every subject. But there is some things that goes better with. I find that this medium goes really well with what I do here. When I do some landscape or cityscape, I love the unison pastel. It gets really, really bright and very interesting. So.
Do you use watercolours at all?
Sorry, who asked? Oh, hi. I have used it. I find it, but I find it interesting. It is more difficult to actually correct what you do than with this. And with these, I can actually do some watercolor effect if I want to. So yeah, so this is the reason I'm doing that. And I think there's people that are far better than me at watercolor, so I let them with that, and I'm doing my own thing. I can, as a creator, artist, we can get extremely frustrated when things don't work the way we want.
True.
And I feel comfortable with these, but I have to say I love watercolor, and I really admire watercolor artists. I think some of them are absolutely, it's absolutely stunning what they do. So yeah, I have done it, but yeah, I feel more comfortable with these. So I'm going to paint the rush hour door at the background, so I will keep the background very light. Everything that is in the background is supposed to be, let's say, not as intense in color. It's the same rule for landscape as well. You always have like some light blue in the background. It's because of the moisture content in the air and all that. So and everything gets more intense in color in the foreground. So it's going to be very easy. I use a bit of raw amber. I mix it with my yellow from earlier. This is actually the part that I use here. And I'm going to water it down. Probably add some. I'm fairly loose on that part because it's, as I said, it's in the background, so I don't need to go very precise. I don't want to anyway, because otherwise it's going to attract the eye. And I want the eye to be attracted by the geese. So up, and I will need a bit of blue, like dirty blue. So what I call dirty blue. That's basically some blue that I use on the geese, but I'm watering it down. So I keep also this way consistency in the palette. So that's very much like a watercolor effect I'm doing here.
It's all very nice when she's quiet.
I do that every single day. You go on and on and on and on. Yeah, I can talk for England. Right.
And France.
Yeah. So, what I am going to do now is the shadow of the piece. So I'm going to use I like doing that. It's a lot of fun. So this is very soft. Like that. And the ground is. Once again, it's raw amber. That's one of my favorite colors. You can find raw amber in every single one of my paintings. The reason is because there is the ground, so there is always some reflection with raw amber, and there is always some. It's part of the ground. It's very earthy. So I'm going to add some raw amber in my yellow again. It's very often that I reuse some colors that I've mixed previously. Once again, it keeps a consistency in the palette. So, a lot of water with that. I'm just checking the colour. I don't want it too strong at first. So the way I hold my my brush like that, and I'm going to be very loose. So the sun is going this way, so the shadow are going to follow, and I go just I don't know if you can see, I twist it around like that. It just gives some natural effect of the ground with all the pebbles or the mud or whatever you can find on the ground like that, up. And then here. So obviously if the sun is here, I will have like the body of the goose that actually will show. So I can add a few bits there and there, here. And then at some places, which is usually close to the legs, I will probably darken the shadow. You don't always have to, it's just a little detail. Okay, so next one. So just checking that my color and my intensity is the same. And the direction is very important, otherwise it will look wrong. By twisting it around, it's just very simple, but I really like it. I like this effect. It's very easy. Okay. I'm going to take a step back and see if it needs anything else for now. Right, let's start putting it closer to the subject.
Caroline comes down regularly to the farm to help out with the rush hour and the painting, but she has her own cabin at the farm. She regularly paints.
Which I try to keep my own.
Yeah.
People start coming in now. Hello! But yeah, it's really nice actually because you got the subject, you got your models at the door. So yeah, it does happen sometimes. Oh, I need this or that. It's very easy. Just come out and I've got all the subject that I need. So it's perfect, really.
The nice thing about Caroline's paintings, she captures not only the animals but the characters. And the animals on there, you see that some of her cards there. Trigger, the pig there. Trigger is a famous pig. He's got a following all around the world. It's a rescue pig. Someone decided to have one of these sort of pygmy pigs, one of these sort of micro pigs. And this
well, he's not micro, he's enormous. Yeah.
And I had to go down into Melkshire and pick this pig up, which was in someone's kitchen. It's enormous. Just figure it's one of our rescue ones, but it's a real character. Got the best in life. We're very lucky because local supermarkets, Lidl, Sainsbury's and Marks and Spencer's, my favourite, give us their leftover fruit and veg for the animals. So nothing goes to waste. And they also give treats to our students who come down as well, which is quite nice. And to me, it's like a little bit of a belly there, but But we do give a healthy diet to our animals.
Yeah, Trigger gets a lot of fruit and veg actually.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. There are people who actually like to watch a pig eat. This.
Well, actually, the
Depends who you're married
funniest.
to one or not, but
The funniest one is Mac, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Mac is a steer, one of our first calves. And one of our cattle there loves bananas. We've got a cow that eats bananas 30 or 40 a day.
A cow that eats bananas.
Yeah.
How did you find out it was?
Yeah. We were going with a bucket one day and Mac came out and saw the bucket because we were taking the bananas to the pigs, of course, and we just ate the whole bucket full. We don't eat our animals, we tend to do sometimes, but we are. We name them. It's a bit difficult to.
What's your name? That's it.
That's it, yeah. It's nice to sort of see Caroline's skills down at the farm and capture the animals and said, create a calendar. I haven't got a calendar here because it's
No, they're sold out.
first batch sold out.
Yeah, it's
So
very, very popular. We are having some more actually coming next week. So.
if you ever see it, it's sort of got a little bit of a twist to the calendar. And our animals, as I said, the cupper is the most famous. We, even our little cat Smudge, the picture down there, our Smudge the cat. People watch this little kitten grow up and everybody looks for little Smudge to come out in the morning and impose there. But we try to encourage our children, our youngsters, to get creative as well. You know, I teach photography. I used recently I used to do all the training for Help for Heroes for photography. So we do photography, we do video, and obviously we have our art as well. And nice little part of the skills. And we also teach children how to use social media safely and use it properly. Because so as a generation growing up, we think they've just got to pose in front of the camera. Now, if you ever see me in front of the camera, I'm a typical farmer. You know, I'm not looking at how my hair is looking or what I look like. And there's a generation who's sort of just posing, pretending they're happy. A lot of them, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's very sad sometimes to see, to be honest. But yeah.
So Caroline's work is shared over the internet. Paintings, which are sort of sold as far as Australia, is it?
Australia, I've got Japan. Japanese people, they love the robins, little birds, yeah. But the US is definitely our biggest sell, isn't it? Our biggest fans, and they are going for the calendar. So I saw so many in America lately. Yeah, it's going very well. It's very nice as an artist to be appreciated like that, and for everything we do as well. Okay, so I just darkened a little bit some shadow here.
We have Cuthbert and Owen. Owen is a girl. The reason it's called Owen is that our students get a chance to write their names on the goose eggs. And when they hatch out, the name sticks. So we do have Cuthbert and Owen. You know, I've been informed that Owen is a girl's name in Welsh. So.
Right, because we started calling her Owena, but actually she's been called Owen
Yes.
forever, so
Yeah.
That's good.
But we have so many names.
Yeah, now it's like, well, how many animals have you got on the farm then?
There's nearly 300 now.
Yeah.
Not all got names, but a lot of them have. Rodney and Dowdy, emus, Marlene, Marmite, and Trigger, pigs. Doris, Doreen, Daisy. Daisy's a little heifer cow.
Oh, Daisy is lovely.
Came in, was rescued from Fruit Market. Nobody wanted this little cow. And we looked up and said, oh, can you take me, Chris? Really? So ended up at the farm and was being reared by the students there and follows us around everywhere. Best friend is a goat called Lucky.
Oh. Yeah. Lucky is very much jealous of anyone that approached Chris. You can explain why?
Well, it's been imprinted on myself. Lucky was an orphan which I brought up. But got horns, so when he gets close to me, he will sort of push you out the way.
Yeah, she's funny.
There's a lot of work with animals, and but one of our famous ones this year was Bumblebee, which is still a lamb, born in March on a cold Friday afternoon. My brother went into that field and found this little lamb, 3 weeks premature,
Oh.
very, very small, all cold, and basically died. It was sort of just making a noise like a bee. So that's what you call Bumblebee. So you sort of think, well, what do I do with it? Do I step in, do let nature take over? But anyway, we rubbed it down and warmed it up underneath the lamp. And then it wouldn't feed, obviously, it was 2 weeks. So I put a tube down to its stomach and I put colostrum milk in every 4 hours for a whole weekend. So I didn't really sleep for a whole weekend. After the weekend, I was thinking on the Monday, thinking, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I need some sleep myself. And then she started to suck, and now she's grown up a lot and follows me everywhere.
She has a lot of fun now, hasn't she?
Oh yeah, she's a real character.
Yeah.
Smaller than the other sheep, and her best friend is Lucy a goat. She was never orphaned. She was born on a Thursday morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. Very weak. The mother rejected it, and ended up having to feed that one as well. So Bumblebee and Lucy are good friends. Daisy, the cow, lives with our goat Lucky. And it's interesting, on the farm we have lots of cats as well, but the cats will never take a chick or a little duckling. Because they've grown up with them, they're used to it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really surprised me.
Yeah.
The cats don't touch the birds.
We have no mice or rats that we can steal, so that's another blessing as well.
Okay, so I just worked on the shadow on the rush hour door a little bit. I just kept it quite light. So I'm going to start the ink process. So when I say ink, I use actually some gel paint. Let me have a look what you say. Paint marker pen, extra fine point. So this is what I've got here. There is plenty, if you know, on Amazon or whatever, you will find plenty of different ones. This one works for me. So you got to shake them. They have like quite a thick ink inside. I just test that it works all right and it doesn't leak, because it does leak sometimes, and it's very difficult to actually correct. I can correct a lot of things with the paint, but with the pens, no. So once I've got the pen, this is what I'm going to put the character in my subject. So, I mean, it's already a little bit there, but I'm going to increase it and push the fun part of it. And it always comes, we are human, we all react with face and eyes and mouth and all that. So this is where I am going to put the attention on. So let's see Owen and her eyes. So you could do this with a very thin brush, a very pointy brush with some, I have the carbon black here, which is actually a really, there is no transparency in that black, this is black, so you could actually use that as well. I find pen kind of easier to manage. The advantage maybe with a brush, for example, like this, hello, is that you could do a little bit like calligraphy, so you could have some really thin part and some thicker one, and that would actually give some energy to the painting as well. But that's feasible with this as well. What's the latest animal we got on the farm? Is that the ram, actually?
Yeah, Henry.
Yeah,
Oh,
Henry.
yeah.
Henry the ram is already famous.
But even today, a warning, if you come to the farm, it's very fertile. Animals are breeding all the time. Because they're roaming around, sometimes our students will miss a broody bantam or duck. And today, we had 8 little ducklings hatch out.
Well, I wasn't there today.
I
We
know.
had 8 ducklings, so that's
I
great.
know. I had a chick the other day. It's lovely to see, and again, and lovely for the students to be able to handle. We do sell a lot of our chicks and ducklings over projects and have them for pets. So it's nice to see, but it's like, oh my goodness, you always suddenly look around and there's little ducklings running across the yard. Oh no, more.
But you are very careful on which project it's going to, isn't it?
Yes,
You do care about, it's not just like, oh, I'm going to sell this or that, it's just, it's far more than that. Right.
I've always been surrounded by animals, even when I was younger. I used to have a little business called Franklin Fisheries, selling fish and animals. And then I realised not everybody looked after animals the same way as myself. I gave up because I was all disheartened, and after a few weeks or a few months, someone would bring back their pet rabbit or whatever because they got bored with it, because the children didn't want it, they wanted something else. So I gave it up and went into photography. I'm looking at my granddad was a photographer, so I had that wonderful job with the police, which was the first civilian scenes of crime officer for the Wiltshire Police. I got to film dead bodies, so it was a little bit different from the work I do now. I started worried when Caroline starts moving around. Oh my goodness! Movement there.
But yeah, we love what we do. We wouldn't change it for the world. It is 7 days a week. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go at 4, and it's every day. So, and then there is the shamble, there is other things, and yeah, it's. I've got a list of things to do like that. Chris has got a list of things to do in his head. I don't know how he does that. I need to write things down. But yeah, it's a lot. But it's we love everything we do, and we got great reward for how people get happy, but the kids as well at the farm. That's really nice to see. Right, so with the ink, and you get, if you go very slow, it's like when you actually draw. If you go very slow, it will look very soft, and there will be a lack of energy in it. The faster you are, the better. So, and I know it can be at first, it can be a bit daunting, mostly when you've done a lot of painting like that, to actually go with the ink and go like that. But trust me, that's what works best. So.
So in the evening, all the animals come in safely. We have a big, big farm. They all go in and get locked in because obviously we do have foxes around, so we have to make sure they're all secure. And they naturally go back into either roost or to sleep, so we don't have any problems with foxes as such. As I said, we've got 300 animals.
Surprised you haven't got a pet fox.
Yeah.
You've got all these other animals, yeah.
We've got 4 animals in quite a big yard, and it all starts off about 3 o'clock in the morning. First rooster goes, and the second one. We've got nearly 20 roosters. Yeah. Yeah. We have Ken the rooster and Kenny, who are famous roosters who come out early in the morning and crow.
Yeah.
And never stop. You get tuned to it, and I think that as I teach with the children, you know, on the farm, quite often you hear the problem or hear something first before you see it. So your senses are very alert on the farm, especially your nose. Lots of nice, interesting smells down on the farm. Imagine.
Yeah, but you can, it's funny because you can recognize the animal just with the noise they are making.
Yeah.
You know, which goose is actually making noise or whatever. It's very it's interesting. You're the only one at the farm that can do that. So you see how actually inking it like that, it just brings everything together, separate it from the background, and just, you know, I've got the background that is pushed back slowly by doing that. The shadow is giving it some ground. By the way, I didn't mention it, but I added a bit of blue in the shadow on the ground. You always have reflection from the sky, so it does. It is actually very natural to have that. Same thing, because on the ground we've got raw umber, it's got some yellow in it. If you want to put some blue, just wait for the raw umber to dry and put some blue then. Otherwise you're going to have green. I got something with green.
We have a lot of green on the farm. It's called grass.
No, real green is fine. It's just that a reflection on the paint. Well, anyway. I'm going on and on and on about it.
And we don't have any mud on our farm. It's all with blue skies, all clean, never any mud, no water.
Yeah,
I get muddy every day.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of projects coming up. Maybe the one closest to us is the Christmas video. So we are going to do well, you are going to edit. Chris is very good at videos and he knows how to edit and all that. So he's got a lot of ideas as well that sometimes it's not really good for me, because apparently now I've got to go in a pond for the Christmas video. I wasn't aware of it. He announced it on social media to everyone. So now I'm going to do it. So yeah, that's something that will come up well on YouTube and all our social media at some point. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm lucky because I've got Caroline, but my daughter Cara, and after my social media and my PR, we believe, you know, we have huge interest, and I'm not overly interested in too much, but like Fern Britton, if you know Fern Britton, she writes to Cuthbert the Goose every week.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a few people, that actually write to the animals like that.
There's a Hollywood actress who's in Star Wars. I don't watch Star Wars, the films a little bit. She sends messages. She's coming over next year to see Cuthbert the Goose.
These people are mad.
I know. Ricky Gervais. We get some messages from Ricky Gervais. He likes the humour as well as the
I
animals.
think he loves animals, yeah, he loves
He said,
animals
yeah.
too, yeah.
So I've been approached by the BBC to do some TV work, but it's not going to happen. It's a time factor. We don't want to lose what we're doing with the farm and animals, but it is bringing us awareness. And Annington Homes have just donated money to us to actually put a farm kitchen in, so the children can learn how to cook.
That's cool.
Yeah, cook goose.
Cook goose.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tell me, your knowledge of all the various animals you've got,
Yeah.
I presume you've read Animal Farm. George Orwell.
Yeah.
Where the pigs took over.
Yeah.
And dobbing the horse and all that sort of thing. Who do you think would take over your farm if they ousted you? Because that's what the animals did, is ousted the farm.
That's
What's the most intelligent animal you've got?
It's the pigs by far. Pigs.
It would be the pigs, right?
Yeah, the fourth most intelligent animal on the planet, and sometimes I think they're higher up than that. But the intelligence of the pig, that's the memory of the locations, and the intelligence of working out a problem to escape is unbelievable. And the care with their piglets, the communication, they actually sing to their piglets, and they have different songs. Yeah, they do, because the milk flow of a pig is very limited, and the mother will sing a particular song to let the piglets know the milk is flowing. And the bond they got is unbelievable. And the Marley, my favourite pig. We have a theme with we call them the horses in the trotter family. We have, Marley we had as a young weaner, 6 weeks old, follows me everywhere. And if I let her out, or she gets herself out quite often, she'll go to the house and knock on the door for food. Yeah. Very intelligent. Very intelligent.
Have you got this private access to follow you around everywhere?
Often, yeah. The least intelligent are turkeys and our peafowl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The turkeys, bless them, we had a fox come in a couple of years ago, and they just lined up to the fox and say, "Oh, nice mate."
Yes.
Used to try and intimidate you. You look at you, go like that, you look at you to see if you was impressed, right? Then you come a bit closer, when we used to work on this one, they had a polytone, and this lady did charge if she was teaching trainers. Well, like said after, she said, "What do you reckon? You have to train people to train it." And I said, "Well, it's good for them." She said, "Well, you know what class you want to work
Cuthbert the goose there, I'm nearly finishing off now. Cuthbert, geese are very intelligent as well. They can recognise people's faces, they have a brilliant memory. Cuthbert was brought up with a little duck called Blue. And this little duckling grew up with Cuthbert. And one day, Orville the turkey attacked little Blue. And Cuthbert was there, couldn't do anything about it. He remembered it. A year later, he actually plucked the turkey. He took all the feathers out and attacked him. And that's what Orville And it's good to remember. You come down, people come down to the farm and will physically remember people. And if he likes you, brilliant. He doesn't like you, but.
Yeah, I guess there is a jealousy thing as well, because if you are around, you can be quite jealous, but if you're not, you can be quite, alright?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, or I should keep it a bit loose for the background.
So we come in to about 5 to 9, Carla?
Yeah, so, yeah, I could maybe stop there. I'll show you another quick thing. So, that's the black one. I've got actually a white one as well, so if I want to add anything, mostly when I have some really dark paint, actually that works really well, mostly with hair. Like if you are painting, I don't know, let's say a donkey, and it's really dark brown, and it's got, you know, some hair, some white hair sticking up. That works really well. So same brand as the other one, gel paint with but white. So you can come and add a little bit of things if you wanted some light somewhere. So yeah. So that's
are they gel paint? Are they gel paints?
I'll show you. Yeah, that's what they call that gel paint. To be honest, I don't know exactly. I think that's a type of acrylic, to be honest. But if you type gel pen, probably on Amazon you'll find plenty of different ones. Probably colored as well. You can have a look around what works for you. Yeah, but shake it well. So there it is.
Yep, thank you very much, Carol.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for all the talk about the animals. It's quite educational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the inspiration comes from this as well.
Yeah,
So,
I think you saw that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.